Good morning, it's a brand new week and welcome to Africa Good Morning, where we'll be bringing you the latest news in Africa and beyond. My name is Glenora Shipura and this is Diana Master.
Welcome to Africa Good Morning. Glenn, quick pop quiz time. What vegetable is orange and crunchy and a favorite of many rabbits?
Carrot.
Ding, ding, ding! I'm going to give you a carrot after the show because yes, the ever so famous ubiquitous carrot, a favorite food of rabbits, amazing for the eyesight, and the foundation of what is easily one of the greatest cakes ever conceived. So yes, this root vegetable is packed full of vitamins and nutrition while being tasty as well. Let's take a look at International Carrot Day.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at our news stories. More than 400 civilians reported dead as a result of fighting in Mali. Now, the UN's Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, have announced that violence in northern Mali has led thousands of people to seek refuge in neighboring Niger. According to the UN, citing security sources, more than 400 civilians are reported to have been killed during the fighting. The majority of refugees are settling in localities in the Tahoua region, according to OCHA. Some are already receiving assistance from the World Food Programme. Behind the crisis is a deteriorating humanitarian context, coupled with a food crisis. Niger, particularly its western part, is hit by a serious food crisis caused by drought and jihadist violence that has prevented farmers from cultivating their fields, according to the UN and the Nigerian authorities. Since 2017, that armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda and extremist Islamic states have been active in the region.
Inferno devastates market in Somaliland's capital. Residents of the capital of Somaliland have woken to scenes of devastation after fire tore through the main market overnight. The blaze destroyed hundreds of businesses in the densely crowded market area as firefighters struggled to gain access to the flames. But it appears that nobody was killed, though 28 people were injured. The blaze is a setback for the city of 1.2 million people, capital of the unrecognized Republic of Somaliland. Somaliland, which broke away from Somalia just over 30 years ago, has escaped much of the chaos and violence that plague its neighbor. The fire started on Friday and was not brought under control until Saturday morning. The cause was not immediately known. The town has never witnessed such a massive calamity, the city's mayor Abdikarim Ahmed Morge told reporters. The market, the biggest open-air market in the city, was a hub of activity with hundreds of small businesses. Somaliland has a high rate of unemployment and the market was a lifeline for many poor families who depended on it to make a living. Somaliland President Muse Bihi Abdi said the fire had destroyed goods worth millions of dollars.
In our next story, UN Security Council votes for new Somali peacekeeping force. The UN Security Council on Thursday voted unanimously for a new African Union peacekeeping force in Somalia, where Al-Shabaab insurgents have been seeking to overthrow the fragile government for more than a decade. Now, under the approved resolution, the new mission is projected to gradually decrease staffing levels from nearly 2,000 soldiers, police and civilians to zero by the end of 2024. The African Union Transition Mission in Somalia will work to enable Somali forces to take responsibility for security, replacing the current AMISOM mission, whose mandate was to expire Thursday. Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres earlier this month endorsed a continuation of this mission, and they recommended that force reduction proceed.
Now, moving over to Congo, the M23 rebel group declares unilateral ceasefire in eastern Congo. The M23 rebel group has declared a unilateral ceasefire after several days of clashes with the army in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, its spokesman said in a statement on Friday. The group said it was seeking dialogue with the government and that it had withdrawn its troops from the combat zone in order to avoid new confrontations with the Congolese army. Heavy fighting broke out on Monday after the M23 attacked two Congolese army positions near the borders with Uganda and Rwanda and advanced on nearby towns, causing thousands of people to flee into Uganda. The M23 seized large swathes of territory during an insurrection in 2012 and 2013 before its fighters were driven out by Congolese and United Nations forces. They have since returned from neighboring countries to stage attacks.
In our next story, Cameroonian war refugees ask for same treatment as Ukrainians in the U.S. In March, President Joe Biden said the U.S. would welcome 100,000 Ukrainian refugees, granting temporary protected status, also known as TPS, to another 30,000 already in the U.S. But while Ukrainians fleeing the war are met with great marks of solidarity, the same doesn't apply for all. Wilfred Tebaha left his country about 3 years ago because of its ongoing conflict and the risk of persecution. Temporary protected status provides a work permit for 6 to 18 months. Recently, the NGO Human Rights Watch delivered a report saying some Cameroonians experience unfounded asylum denials and abuse in detention in the U.S. Wilfred wrote a letter to Republican senators stating that he would like to be given the same treatment as the one given to Ukrainians. Now, the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees TPS and other humanitarian programs, declined to comment the complaints of racism in American immigration policy. Now we'll be back with more news right after the break.
Have you received a loan from NSFAF? NSFAF loan is the same as any other loan. It must be paid and settled. NSFAF has a set of guidelines on how you can repay your loan and become debt-free. Therefore, it is important that you, a former beneficiary and a responsible Namibian, show your patriotism by helping pay back your loan and thus helping NSFAF become a revolving fund for the benefit of future potential students. By failing to pay back your NSFAF loan, you risk being blacklisted or having a court order against you. So arrange with the fund to pay back your loan today. For more information on how you can repay your loan, visit our website at www.nasfaf.na or visit our Facebook page or Twitter. Do the right thing and hashtag payback the money.
Welcome back. Continuing with our top stories, a food convoy heads to Ethiopia's Tigray region, first since December. A convoy of trucks carrying food aid entered territory controlled by fighters loyal to the fugitive leaders of Ethiopia's Tigray region on Friday, the first humanitarian convoy to do so since December 14, the United Nations World Food Programme said. The arrival of the trucks came 8 days after Ethiopia's federal government declared an immediate humanitarian truce. The UN estimates that 90% of Tigray's 6 million people are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance. It says 100 trucks must enter every day to feed people there. In recent months, some food and nutrition supplies have been flown into Tigray, but these represent a fraction of the region's needs. Banking services and phone lines also remain down across Tigray.
In our next story, EU allocates emergency humanitarian funding of €1 million for victims of tropical cyclone Gombe. Now, the European Commission has mobilized emergency humanitarian funding of €1 million for those severely affected by tropical cyclone Gombe, which struck Mozambique earlier this month. The most affected provinces, Nampula and Zambezia, had already been impacted by tropical storm Ana and Depression Dumako earlier in the year. Now, Nampula province is also affected by the Cabo Delgado crisis and is hosting about 70,000 internally displaced people coming from the neighboring Cabo Delgado province. It is estimated that over 93,000 houses have been totally or partially destroyed and nearly 1,500 classrooms destroyed. Commissioner for Crisis Management, Janice Lanarcis, said Although the world's attention is focused on Ukraine, we should not forget the larger-scale emergencies occurring in other regions. The Southern Africa region has been suffering from the series of natural hazards this year, the latest one being Tropical Cyclone Gombe, affecting particularly Mozambique. The emergency funding provided by the EU will help the most vulnerable deal with effects of the cyclone.
Moving over to Tunisia. Tunisia crisis escalates as police summon opposition figures. Tunisian anti-terrorism police summoned the country's main opposition figure for questioning on Friday as the political crisis deepens in the wake of President Kais Saied's move to dissolve parliament and impose one-man rule. Rached Ghannouchi, head of the Islamist Ennahda party and speaker of the dissolved parliament, was summoned to appear later on Friday, his office said, after investigations were opened into other members of the chamber who had defied Saied. Saied demanded that investigations be carried out after members of parliament held an online session on Wednesday and voted to revoke all emergency measures he has imposed, despite his decree last summer suspending the chamber. The president accused those who took part in the session, along with Ghannouchi, whose office had announced the move, of conspiring against state security, and he ordered the Justice Department to open legal proceedings against them. Last month, Saied took control of the judiciary, replacing a top council whose job was to ensure judicial independence with judges he selected himself. Saied's moves raised the prospect of a crackdown on the opposition as Tunisia's main players grow more active in opposing his attempts to remake the political system in what they call a coup.
Buka's mass grave, 300 people buried, streets littered with corpses outside Kyiv. Almost 300 people have been buried in a mass grave in Bucha, a commuter town outside Ukraine capital, Kyiv, its mayor told AFP. The Ukrainian army retook control of the key town from Russia on Saturday in Bucha. We've already buried 280 people in mass graves, Mayor Anatoly Fedoruk told AFP. He said the heavily destroyed town streets are littered with corpses. AFP saw at least 20 bodies, men in civilian clothes, lying in a single street in Bucha on Saturday. Russia's underwhelming performance in Ukraine has shocked global military analysts who had expected the Russian forces to take the country within the first 72 hours. But as reports emerge that Russia's troops are beginning to withdraw from the country's north, experts are examining the corruption within Russia's military. Now, many of the bodies had white bandages on them to show that they were unarmed. He said the town still had cars in the streets with entire families killed, children, women, grandmothers, men, he added. Now, the corpses were still in the streets because sappers have not worked there yet, Fedoruk said. He claimed some of the victims had tried to cross the Bukanaka River to Ukrainian country-controlled territory and had been killed. Ukrainian forces regained control of the Bucha this week.
Now in Mozambique, polio vaccination surpasses the target. The Mozambican Health Ministry on Wednesday announced that it has surpassed the target set for vaccinating children under the age of 5 against polio. The target for the first phase of the campaign in the northern provinces of Niassa, Nampula and Cabo Delgado and in the central provinces of Zambezia, Tete, Manica and Sofala was to reach 4.2 million children in a 4-day period. Announcing the results of the first round of the campaign at a Maputo press conference, the National Director of Public Health, Kinas Fernandez, said that 4,833,352 children under the age of 5 had been vaccinated. He said that all 7 provinces had surpassed their targets, with coverage rates varying between 107 and 117%. The greatest success was in Tete, where the target was 496,924 children, but 580,980 children were vaccinated. The first round involved 46,000 people, vaccination staff, supervisors, coordinators, mobilizers, independent monitors, drivers, and other logistical personnel. The cost was at $3.4 million. The ministry launched the campaign because 1 case of polio was detected in Malawi on 17 February, and 2 cases were detected in northern Mozambique, in Cabo Delgado and Nampula.
Now, after the break, we'll be taking a look at the Armata Data Center. More on this right after the break.
Welcome back. Now, in this next clip, Yolanda Nell speaks to the Chief Operations Officer of Paratus about the Armada data center and how it complements the Equino cable and what this means for SADC. Let's take a look.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking to Skalk Erasmus here of Paratus. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Yolanda.
We are just going to jump right in. Can you tell us about the Armada data center?
The Armada data center is our fourth data center that we've constructed in the group. The first two in Angola, the third one in Zambia, which we've launched last year. So Namibia is the fourth one that will play an influential role in our development in Namibia.
How does this complement the Iguanu cable?
The Iguanu cable is the second cable landing in Namibia. So it will bring the content closer to the Namibian audience, Namibian consumers, Namibian corporates. It will enable the hyperscalers like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, to host their servers in our data center, basically bringing the cloud to Namibia.
Can you tell us the landing station was just finalized and the cable is set to arrive within the next couple of months? What does this mean?
So this means that Namibia will have true redundancy. Currently there's only one cable, the wax cable, that's landing in Swakop. Iguanu is the second cable. Paratus is the landing partner for Google for the Iguanu cable in Namibia. So this will give us alternative redundancy. It will also give us quicker access to Europe. It will be a shorter cable, which means it will be faster, and there will be much more capacity. This will not just double the capacity that Namibia currently has. It might even triple the capacity.
Can you tell us how does SADC benefit from this investment?
So all the neighboring countries, especially where we have operations, Angola, Zambia, Botswana, can also benefit on using this data center for hosting servers or for backup. So for instance, our Zambian data center can then use the Namibian data center to back up its servers and its content in terms of cloud and other services.
What was the cost for this investment?
The cost of this investment for phase 1 is 123 million. If we build phase 2, that will approximately be another 40 to 50 million. So overall, we're talking about 170 million Namibian dollar investment.
And when do you think this project will be finalized?
So we are busy doing the fit out of the data center. We anticipate to launch the data center in August. So we are working hard towards that deadline.
This demand Paratus is investing in falls squarely in line with global and continental requirements for complex co-location services. Researchandmarkets.com reports that the African data center market was worth $2 billion in 2020. The Artson.com market report states that data center market saw investments of $2.6 million in 2021, and it forecasts to achieve a compound annual growth rate of 12.73% between 2022 and the year 2027. Paratus, which has already built 2 DC facilities in Angola and 1 in Zambia in recent years, has already confirmed 55% occupancy of one of the 2 Armada data halls in Namibia. In a recent statement, it was said that their customers understand that technological advancement in the form of big data, cloud services, and artificial intelligence is critical for their future success. They need an independent, secure, and highly sophisticated DC facility. The Paratus Armada DC will store and protect client data 24/7, house and physically protect all equipment and computer systems. They will also handle the migration from off-site to the data center, provide backup power generation, and offer an array of add-on services and features. Although Paratus operates its own resilient fiber network that interconnects the Armada data center facility to the rest of the world, it is carrier neutral, providing clients and tenants with host connectivity options and freedom of choices. According to Paratus MD Andrew Hall, they are committed to delivering Africa's quality network. Their connectivity and network services are complemented by their hosting, firewall, and storage capability. They can work with their partners and their customers to help ensure that Africa realizes its full commercial potential. Armada is another testament to that vision. In delivering Africa's quality network, Paratus Namibia thinks big and believes passionately in the potential of Africa. The company is investing in infrastructure and in delivering unlimited, reliable, and affordable connectivity, which in turn will help unlock Africa's potential.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning. We now head on over to Zambia, speaking to Mike Sichula. Good morning, Mike.
Africa, good morning. I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Now, I understand that Rwanda's President Paul Kagame is today expected in Zambia for a one-day state visit. Can you tell us more about this?
Yes, thank you very much. Indeed, President Paul Kagame is expected in Zambia. Actually, it's for a two-day state visit. The president is visiting Zambia in the tourist capital, Livingstone, southern part of Zambia. The President Hakainde Hichilema has already traveled to the tourist capital, Livingstone, in readiness for the arrival of President Paul Kagame. You know, President Paul Kagame is coming to Zambia the first time in terms of visiting President Hakainde Hichilema. He has been a frequent visitor to Zambia when President Edgar Lungu was in charge of power. But after the President Hakainde Hichilema won, this is one of his first visits to Zambia. And the visit is aimed at promoting tourism, promoting business in terms of looking at how Rwanda has been able to manage its Rwandan air. So Zambia has built a number of high modern international airports. One of which is the Harimanga International Airport in Livingstone. So Zambia wants to take advantage of the potential that Rwanda has in terms of international conferences that are being held in Kigali, and also see to it that Zambia can become one of those hubs in the Southern African region to promote tourism. So this state visit is actually one which President Hakainde Hichilema said has a lot of potential if the two leaders can agree in how this trade between the two countries can go.
All right. Now we hear that the government has assured that enough essential medicines have been produced to address the shortage in public health facilities across the country. Can you expand more on this, please?
Yes. You know, in the past few weeks or months, Zambia has been having a shortage of essential medicine in public health facilities, a situation that has created a lot of public concern. However, the government has moved in to ensure that this lack of medicine in hospitals is addressed. And as we speak, from last week, the agency that is mandated to procure medicines on behalf of government had started distributing these essential medicines to most of the of the public health facilities. A situation which is expected to ensure that there is no shortage of drugs. What our viewers may need to know is that what has caused this delay, this agency that the government has created is a new agency in terms of procuring medicine on the ministry, on behalf of the Ministry of Health. So it has been having these operational and administrative challenges, coupled with the debt that the government of Zambia owes to some of the medical suppliers. However, this seems to be getting addressed, and medicines are being delivered to public health facilities.
Now, on to more exciting news for Zambia. I understand that a study has revealed that Zambia is one of the few countries in the SADC region that has achieved energy efficiency through the introduction of energy-saving lighting measures. I want to hear more about this.
Yes, this is a study that was conducted by the Southern African Development Community Center of Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, which says Zambia is one of the few countries in the region that has achieved energy efficiency through the introduction of energy-saving lighting measures. This is actually a plus on part of Zambia, because the power company, Zambia Electricity Supply, or ZESCO Limited, has embarked on a rigorous campaign to distribute energy-saving bulbs and take over from traditional bulbs. So what the company has been doing is that they go into an area or communities where they'll begin to distribute these energy-saving bulbs in exchange for traditional bulbs, and this has proven to be very effective. And the company has continued to pilot and distribute these energy-saving bulbs with a view that once more energy-saving bulbs are distributed, it is going to reduce, it is going to increase the number of people that are having these energy-saving bulbs, later on reducing the load on the national electricity grid. So this study by the Southern African Development Community has come at a time when ZESCO has been involved in this campaign for quite a number of years.
All right. Now, in what seems to be exciting news, we understand that over 3,000 young people have been targeted to be trained into seasoned golfers by 2027. How far true is this?
Yes, this is one of the programs that a local company that is promoting this golf amongst young people. As you may be aware, golf is something that is not so popular amongst children from underprivileged homes. However, this organization has decided to see to it that golf is promoted amongst even people who do not have enough money to buy golf sticks and the like. So Top Notch Golf Evolution says it targets to have over 3,000 pupils and students trained into seasoned golfers by 2027. Top Notch Golf Evolution's founder, Dingani Chewa, says the move is aimed at raising the standards of the sport in Zambia by addressing challenges at grassroots level. One of the challenges at grassroots level is the lack of equipment for golf. The equipment for golf is a little bit on the higher side above many ordinary Zambians. However, this organization wants to see to it that they organize a number of golf equipment which can be given to young people at a younger age so that they can develop into seasoned golfers by the year 2027. It's something that has excited a number of young golf lovers, and even actually the Ministry of Education and Sports is actually pleased by this innovation by the local organization to promote golf across the country.
All right, thank you so much. That was Mike Sichula giving us the news on the ground in Zambia. We now take a look at what the weather forecast has in store for us.
We just spoke to Mike Sichula. We are now in the House of Stone speaking to Talent Gore. Good morning, Talent.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. So in your first story, the UN injects $3 million to fight against GBV in Zimbabwe. Can you tell us more about this?
The United Nations has injected 30 million United States dollars to help fight gender-based violence in Zimbabwe. While this was reviewed by European Union Ambassador to Zimbabwe, Timo O'Connor, who said the country continues to record an increase in GBV cases despite concerted efforts to fight the vice. UN has apparently invested 500 million euros globally, and here in Zimbabwe, UN has invested 30 million United States dollars to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls. The EU, through the Spotlight Initiative to eliminate violence against women, is also supporting the ILO model workplace program, and the program has, among other activities, such as training on women's rights to end sexual harassment and GBV in workplaces. Timo O'Connor said that they were targeting to have at least 85% women empowerment programs as principal objective by 2025. So as it stands, they have injected 30 million United States dollars to help fight GBV in Zimbabwe.
All right, so now we understand that Zimbabwe is set to export around 500 teachers to Rwanda before September. Please expand on this.
Well, Zimbabwe is set to export nearly 500 teachers to Rwanda before September, following the signing of a bilateral agreement between the two countries last year. Government signed the Memorandum of Understanding to pave the way for Kigali to recruit Zimbabwean teachers in December after Rwandan President Paul Kagame said there was a huge shortage of educators in his country. Rwanda Education Board Director Nelson Mbarushimana said the East African country had started recruiting Zimbabwean teachers, and on the Memorandum of Understanding signed last year for an exchange of educational personnel from Zimbabwe, they have so far started recruiting, and they will have 477 teachers coming from Zimbabwe in September this year. Mbarushimana said this in his address at the just ended Zimbabwe-Rwanda Trade and Investment Conference in Zimbabwe. He also said that they had set up a recruitment committee specifically for this, and the process is being done online. However, in separate interviews, Zimbabwe's teachers' union said that the development would worsen the shortage of teachers in the country, as there are no clear plans to fill the vacant posts. So the teachers' unions in Zimbabwe, they are afraid that by this memorandum of understanding, whereby teachers are going to Rwanda, there's going to be a shortage of teachers in Zimbabwe. So they are worried about that.
All right. Now, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe will deploy monetary tools at its disposal to stem out rampant market indiscipline that it believes is driving price increases. Can you tell us more about this?
So the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe say that they're going to deploy various monetary tools at its disposal to stop rampant price increases in the country. As it stands, market indiscipline, the central bank has said, is at the heart of price instability that is largely influenced by volatile parallel market exchange rates. In Zimbabwe, the price of basic goods has been going up every week, and the Reserve Bank is blaming that on the parallel black market rates. As it stands, the rate is now stands at $1 now equal to 300 Zimbabwean dollars, and supermarkets and shop owners, they are now demanding US dollars for their goods. They're saying that they are buying those goods in United States dollars. So now they want people to buy their goods in United States dollars. So the citizens in Zimbabwe, they're saying that it's not fair because most of us, we get paid our salaries there in Zimbabwean dollars, and we can't afford to buy United States dollars. So it is not fair that shop owners are now demanding the United States dollar. So the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe said that they're going to deploy various monetary tools to make sure that to make sure that shop owners and retailers do not force people to buy their goods in United States dollars, as the Zimbabwean currency is not yet dollarized. We are still using the Zimbabwean dollar. So the shop owners, they are now dollarizing their goods. They are now demanding their goods to be paid in United States dollar, in which most of the citizens, they can't afford to buy or to purchase anything in United States dollars.
All right. Thank you so much, Talent, for bringing us the news all the way from Zimbabwe.
You're welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
Okay, we're just speaking to Talent Gore in Zimbabwe, bringing us the news on the ground. We will move on to economic news right after the break.
Choose your flex package with Paratus today. Sign up for ultra-fast fiber with the convenience of mobile LTE. That's 2 products in one bundle. It's new, it's one bill, and you can stay connected in more than one location.
For more information, visit paratus.africa/NA.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Welcome back to Africa Good Morning. We now bring you our economic news stories. Now, in our first story, more plans to deregulate petrol pricing in SA. Further deregulation steps would allow retailers to compete on price and offer motorists discounts and special offers fill up at their stations. Now, the petrol price decrease was welcomed by motorists and economists alike, and the government is taking further steps to ease the financial crisis. Now, it was announced last week by the National Treasury and the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy a 2-phase plan to provide some relief on petrol pumps. Phase 1 includes a temporary reduction in the general fuel levy of $1.50 from Wednesday, 6 April 2022 to Tuesday, 31 May 2022. Now, the further deregulation steps could allow retailers to compete on price and offer motorist discounts and special offers to fill up at their station, the Sunday Times reported. Now, the price of fuel will not be determined by the government after it takes the first step in this direction in June. Speaking to the Sunday Times, Finance Minister Enoch Godwana said this is one of the actions to free up the market. The deregulation will only occur once Treasury figures out how to recover the 90 billion rand loss from the fiscus. It will be if fuel taxes are removed in one go.
Tanzania's first locally made electric car unveiled. Tanzania cartoonist Masood Kipanya officially unveiled the country's first locally made electric car. Kipanya, known for his satirical cartoons, said the electric car is his own creative idea, which took him 11 months to complete. The environmentally friendly electric car's brand name is KP Motor and requires 6 hours of charging. This is a very powerful car that comes with its own charger, Kipanya said during the launch, which took place at the Dar es Salaam Serena Hotel on Saturday and attended by some of the country's top business influencers.
What an exciting story. Now, in our next story, the GBIF to increase pension benefits. Now, from today, 1 April, the Government Institutions Pension Fund will increase pension benefits by 4.62% to the fund's Chief Executive Officer, David Nuyoma says. Now, the increase is just a few basis points higher than the projected inflation increase for the year, which the Bank of Namibia estimates to average around 4.4% for 2022. Now, considering the rate at which the price of basic and other goods are increasing, the increase is expected to come in handy. Now, Nuyoma says amid the current volatile economic outlook resulting in increased fuel and commodity prices, the fund continues to provide members guaranteed benefits. Now, Nuyoma says by awarding this pension increment, the fund had to strike a delicate balance by considering the volatile investment returns due to the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic and the geopolitical circumstances in Europe, the need to manage expectation regarding pension increases and ensuring pensioners live reasonably within inflation parameters. Now, at the end of January this year, the fund's assets had shot up to 147 billion Namibian dollars.
Moving right on over to Mozambique, President inaugurates the country's largest solar plant in Cabo Delgado. Mozambique's President Felipe Nyusi this Friday inaugurated a solar power plant, the largest of its kind in the country, at Metoro in the northern province of Cabo Delgado, his office announced in a statement. The Metoro solar plant project is part of the government's plan to increase production capacity and diversify energy sources in the country in general and in the northern region in particular, with the aim of ensuring quality energy in Cabo Delgado province, the statement read. Work began in 2020 on building the plant, which consists of 125,000 panels manufactured in China. It has a capacity of 41 megawatts and is to inject 69 gigawatt hours per year into the grid managed by state electricity company Electricidade de Mozambique. The project has a budget equivalent of 47.3 million euros and is the result of a partnership between EDM with a 25% stake.
That's it from our economic news. We now take a look at our economic indicators.
Welcome back. Now, for all you sports lovers, let's take a look at the sports news with Ari Hochart in Cape Town. Ari, good morning.
Yes, very good morning to both of you, Glenora and Aina. I hope it's a brilliant day in Windhoek. Yes, a busy sporting weekend. Lots happening. As always in sport, there's some good victories and people that's very happy and people that's sad. But let's look at what happened firstly in the world of cricket. It was the World Cup cricket for women that concluded in New Zealand. It's the 50-over World Cup, and that is Alyssa Healy. She's a wicketkeeper of Australia, and she was the star of the final. The final was played on Sunday between Australia and England. England, the defending champion, and Australia was the six-time champion going into the game. Australia that won the tournament. Australia that won the game. They dominated the game and won it quite convincingly by 71 runs. There's the victorious team. They batted first. Australia batted first. They've got amazing batters. The top six, any one of them can make runs. It was Alyssa Healy made 170 runs off just 138 balls. Australia 356 for 5 in their allotted 50 overs. And then England couldn't make the runs. They scored 285 all out. And it was Nat Shiver of England that also did brilliant. She scored 148 all not out. So, but it was the day for Australia. It was Australia that won their 7th title, dominating the world of cricket in the women's section. They just lost one of their last 39 ODI games. So well done to Australia in winning that World Cup.
All right.
Let's move on to some tennis news. It was the Miami Open that took place in Miami, in Florida, in the USA. It is the WTA and the ATP that played, and that is Iga Swiatek, and she's from Poland. She's a new sensation, 20 years old only, and she won the last 3 tournaments played on the WTA tournament on the circuit. She played against Naomi Osaka, also a major winner. She played against her in the final of the Miami Open, and she beat her quite convincingly 6-4 and 6-love. So Iga Swiatek from Poland, just 20 years old, and that is her 3rd win, like I say, in consecutive tournaments. that is the new, also a youngster coming through, only 18 years old, and we can remember his name. His name is Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz, and he is from Spain. Looks like he can follow the footsteps of the legendary Rafael Nadal. He won his first thousands tournament victory. He won the Miami Open. He beat Casper Ruud of Norway in the final 7-5, 6-4. Became the third youngest men's player ever to win a thousands tournament behind Nadal and Michael Chang. Now on to some MotoGP news. It was the Argentinian MotoGP that took place. It was lovely weather, bright sunshine, fast track, and it was the Spaniard Alexei Espargaro that won in the end on his Aprilia, and that was his first win ever on the circuit on the Premier race. And that is Brad Binder of South Africa, and he on his KTM came in a very good sixth place, very competitive, the MotoGP. So the Spaniard Alexei Espargaro, he won on his Aprilia. Second was his countryman of Spain, that is Jorge Martin of he's in the Ducati, and then Alex Rins is in the Suzuki. He was in third position. Now onto some golf news. That's two tournaments I can talk about quickly. It's the South African Women's Open that took place. That's part of the European Tour, and it was Leanne Pace. There she took a selfie of herself with the trophy. That was at Steenberg. Played a lovely Steenberg country estate in close to Table Mountain in Cape Town. And it took her 6 playoff holes to beat Argentinian Magdalena Zimmermacher in a playoff. They both ended on level par after 72 holes, even par, and they had to play many playoff holes, and it was the end. It was Leanne Pace winning her 5th South African Open title. A bit of a heartbreak for Magdalena Zimmermann. She's from Argentina, actually the only Argentinian playing on the European Tour, so she almost won her first tournament. But well done to Leanne Pace of South Africa. Then on the men's tour, it was the men's PGA Tour. That is Dylan Fratelli of South Africa. He was up amongst the leaders going into the final 9 holes of the Texas Open, the Valero Texas Open, played in San Antonio in the USA. And it was Dylan Fratelli that ended in 4th position on 9 under par. The winner of that tournament in the end was American J.J. Spaum, and he came in with a 69 his last round for a total of minus 13. That also booked a ticket for him to go to the Masters, the Masters that starts this coming Thursday at Augusta. Second in the Texas Open was Matt Kuchar on 11 under par, and also Matt Jones of Australia minus 11. News from that tournament also is the Masters defending champion Hideki Matsuyama of Japan. He played in the Texas Open, but he had to withdraw in the second round because of injury. It doesn't look like he will be able to defend his title at the Masters this coming week. To finish off, some football news, soccer news, and that is always stressful for everyone to try and listen to what happened over the weekend to your favorite team. News from that is that Manchester City and Liverpool still continue to win. They're still leading, and they will play this coming weekend a very important game at Manchester City that will in a big way determine who's going to win the Premier League, or go a big way to determine who will win the Premier League. Just briefly, Manchester City beat Burnley. That was at Burnley 2-0. Liverpool beat Watford. That was a home game 2-0. And they've played both 30 games. They've got 73 and 72 points respectively. The fight for the top 4 positions still very tight in the Premier League. And it is Chelsea that surprisingly lost at home to Brentford 4-1. Manchester United dropped again points. They drew 1-1 to Leicester City, and now they're 7th on that list outside of the top 4. Tottenham Hotspur, a great win for them against Newcastle 5-1. They're in the 4th position now, and tonight it will be Arsenal that will play against Crystal Palace. That will be one of the Premier League games that will happen tonight. So that's the sporting news, all the sports results over the weekend. Hope your team did well, and I hope you have a brilliant day and a brilliant week. And we talk sport throughout the week again. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for bringing us the sports news. Now, right after the break, we bring you the highlights.
Welcome back to Africa Good Morning. Now, in case you missed it at the start of the show, let's take a look at the highlights. More than 400 civilians reported dead as a result of fighting in Mali. Inferno devastates market in Somaliland's capital. UN Security Council votes for new Somalia peacekeeping force. M23 rebel group declares unilateral ceasefire in eastern Congo. Cameroonian war refugee asks for same treatment as Ukrainians in the US. More plans to deregulate petrol pricing in South Africa. Those have been your highlights.
And with that, we've come to the end of our show. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Monday morning. Now, do remember that Africa Good Morning is repeated on our 1up2 website and on our DSTV channel 285 and on our Gotv channel 94 between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. Now, also do please share comments regarding the program on our Facebook and Twitter pages. And if you happen to have videos of happenings in your parts of Africa, do share them with us and we'll gladly include them in our program. I am Glenora Shipura, and this is Diana Master.
Until tomorrow, goodbye.